What's up, guys? We're back at Forgotten Rods, and today we're gonna go ahead and do the calipers. We're gonna change out our calipers, our front rotors, and front brake pads because the calipers were sticking. I'm sure you guys remember that. So now I got all the right stuff. Last time I ordered the front calipers and they sent me the rears. So I decided to keep the rears because if you look at these calipers here, the paint job that was done to them was terrible. It wasn't originally painted from the factory like that, and it had a lot of paint drip. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of the ones in the front and also the back. And also when I had the rears put on, originally when I put those drag wheels on, they scratched up my rear calipers. So instead of keeping them on, I'm just gonna swap them out with some new ones I ordered on American Muscle. I'll show y'all those in a bit when we take them all out the box. And then also we're gonna completely drain the brake fluid and refill it because I'm not even sure how old this brake fluid is, but you can see how dirty that is. It's like almost black grayish brake fluid in there. So that tells me it's high copper content and it's a lot of trash in that brake system. So we're gonna completely drain that and refill it. And then we're gonna test it out and see how the brakes work. This has definitely been an ongoing process since like March. In March is when I discovered that the right front caliper was sticking on the driver's side. And because that caliper was sticking, it kept wearing my brake pads out. So I had to keep buying new brake pads. And at first I thought it was because one of the clips on the brake pad was broken. It was just running up against the rotor, but that wasn't the case. Now we discovered that the left front was definitely sticking. In my previous video, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna remember that. Go ahead and check that out. I'll put the link above so y'all can go check out the previous video. But that caliper was sticking really bad, so I decided to go ahead and get the new front calipers, new rear calipers. And when the rears showed up instead of the fronts, I also discovered that it was a different shade of red. I'll show you that later than the ones on here that's on here already. The calipers that's on here already is a darker shade of red than the ones that I ordered, so they definitely had to go. Might as well do them all since I already had the rears come in accidentally anyways. I'm really falling in love with this front splitter, man. This front splitter is beautiful. I'm digging it. I feel like that front splitter really sets off the front end on the car and gives it a more aggressive look. It makes Pegasus look real mean. I'm digging that. Look at that, sheesh. Right now, the front splitter is wrapped because I just wanted to get an idea of how it would look. And since I like to turn out with the red pinstripe on it, I'm gonna go ahead and repaint the splitter later on down the road with that same red pinstripe going on. It just really makes that splitter pop, it makes the front end pop. And I waited to get this wrap to make sure it matched the same red as those calipers. So we're gonna take a look once everything on and see what the end result is. We already took the front wheels off. You guys already seen that process done on the car a million times, so I just skipped that. Now that we got the wheels off, you can really see what I'm talking about with the rotors. So I'll try to get in here so you can see this paint job that I was saying. It's kind of dirty, so it's really hard to tell, but right in here, you can see where the paint was dripping when they did paint these calipers. And close up in real life, you can actually see the quality of this paint job on the calipers really wasn't all that good. So that's another reason that made me decide to go ahead and swap them out. And on the back end here, you can see where the paint chipped off at. And this was due to running those 15s. When I went to go get those wheels balanced, they put the wheel ways right inside the rim, and that's why it rubbed right up here and it started to chafe that paint. And that looks really bad when I got my regular rims on here and I'm rolling through the city and I go to a car meet to compete. You'll see all this paint chip, and I'm like, since I accidentally got the rears, I might as well go ahead and keep them and swap them out. These aren't giving me any problems right now, but with the quality of that paint, with this already chipping, and also with the new calipers being a different shade of red, I might as well go ahead and do all four. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all four of those calipers, switch them out. This left front been sticking, so it's gotta go. And I'm also gonna switch these rotors out. These were also just a temporary set of rotors that I was running until my new rotors that I ordered came in. And as you can see right here, they're already starting to show that surface rust, which to me looks real tacky when you're trying to compete at car competition. So definitely getting rid of those. And then also the face of the rotor itself is plain. As you see here, it's just a smooth surface, but when we come to the back, I have those drilled and slotted rotors. And also, like I said before in my previous video, I discovered that drilled and slotted rotors really isn't ideal for a daily driver car or a car that isn't just track use driven. And the reason why is because those drill points are really weak spots in the rotor, and they can't stand or can't keep up with those long heat duration intervals, which means if you're doing daily driving, especially out here in Houston with the stop and go, and couple that with it being really hot out here, it's just really not an ideal rotor to run on your car. So I decided to go with a new set of rotors for the front, and we just gonna keep those on the back until they go out. So anyways, for the front, I decided to go ahead and do slotted and dimpled rotors so that at least match the rear a little bit better. And once I get those out the box, you'll see what I'm talking about. We'll do some comparisons on those rotors to these rotors right here, and then we'll do some comparisons of the old calipers to the new calipers as well. All right, so you're looking at the front rotors. We have our front calipers, and man, just look at this paint job on these new calipers. This red is a little bit brighter, like I said. It really pops. I love that color, and the craftsmanship and the quality of this paint is a whole lot better than what I have on the car already. And as I was saying, as you can see, this is definitely a brighter shade of red than what's on there right now.
15? That's a lot prettier.
Yeah, it looks a whole lot better. And if you look, that color, I mean, just spot on with this front splitter. So everything is gonna pop. It's gonna look more uniform once everything is on the car, man. I'm just really digging this shade of red, man. That thing just pops. Like, that's just, whoo! Love that red. It's like a fire truck red that I'm looking at. This one's more of like a darker hue of red. Like,
I'll pull it out in a second. You put it in the light.
yeah. Once Jimmy gets it off, I'm gonna put them right next to each other so you can really get an idea of the difference in shade. But yeah, so these are the front calipers I ordered on American Muscle. PowerStop makes these. This is made by PowerStop, and basically what these are the stock OE front calipers, but they're just painted. So they come pre-painted. You don't have to worry about taking it to a shop and wondering about somebody messing them up. PowerStop does a great job painting these. I really love the way they turned out. A lot better than what's on there now. Definitely show car quality. And also, I just ordered some brake pads just temporarily to run on the front because I needed something quick. I couldn't wait for something to come in. I went ahead and went to AutoZone and got some ceramic brake pads, just something to work for now. PowerStop makes a brake pad and rotor kit, but I didn't want the rotors that came with them. So I went ahead and ordered these by EBC, I think that's what they're called. EBC brakes. Haven't really heard a lot about them, but we're gonna try them out and see what I think. But went ahead with the EBC brakes, and the reason I did these rotors here is because if you look at these are dimpled and slotted, and they look a whole lot more closer than what's on the front right now. They match up a whole lot better with the rear that's drilled and slotted, so it's gonna match up a lot better. I know they're black right now, but once they sit on the car and they get ran through, it's gonna be the same shade as the ones that's on the rear. So for now, it's gonna be a cool little offset with these in the front and those in the back, but at least the pattern will match up a little bit better. Now Jimmy's got the front caliper off, and I can show you guys a comparison of brightness and color. So now we are looking at the new caliper versus the old caliper. As you see, is a very dark shade of red, so doesn't really pop that much at night. Pops a little bit better during the day, but what I like about this shade of red is gonna pop during all times of the day, whether it's nighttime or daytime. You're gonna see those. They're really gonna set everything off. And now we're looking at the rotors that I had on the car just temporarily, see how those are playing compared to the new EBC rotors that I ordered online. So definitely a more aggressive setup that I'm getting, and I'm really gonna love the outcome of everything. All right, so Jimmy already got the front rotors and the front pads off already. We got the brake fluid dripping into the oil, not the oil pans, but just the paint, just a bucket. But both front rotors are off, both front calipers are off, brake fluid's draining. We're gonna go ahead and completely drain the system and flush the system of brake fluid before we refill it with the new brake fluid. And I got plenty of brake fluid just in case we ran out with what I had before. So I'm used to crap always going wrong and not right the first try. This is like the what, second, third attempt. So this should be the one. I think this is the one. I think everything is gonna go right today for the most part. Now I got Jimmy getting started on the rear calipers and the rear rotors. We're gonna take all that off, bleed the system, and put it back on with the new calipers, of course. Can't wait, man, to have a true functioning brake system again and really feel the true horsepower on my car with the caliper not sticking in the left front, man. It's gonna feel totally different. I'm excited. There we go. There he blows.
You see how black that was?
Yeah, dude, that was black. Rob's getting the brake pads all cleaned up for the rears. And now you can really see the difference in the shade of red like I was talking about on these calipers. So this is the new caliper, this is the old caliper for the front. Then I'll show you the rear calipers. Now that it's off the car, you can really see how bad it was chafing and where it was chafing at. Like, look at all those spots. Chafe spot there, and it's chafed on this side really bad right there. The paint just chipped really bad. And now you can see the difference in the shade of red on these two calipers. Of course, this is the new one, and this is the old one. Just a more brighter red. Like, it just really pops. It's more captivating than this old red. I really like this. Really pops just like the rest of the car does. Keeps everything flowing nicely. I like that shade of red. Now we got those calipers, those brake pads all cleaned up. And these boys over here at Forgotten Rod's Garage, man, they do your boy good, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna climb in the car and give the brake a little pedal so that we can get some of this brake fluid pushed out of the system before we go ahead and start filling it with new brake fluid. Now I drained the fluid that's already in the car a little bit, so we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit more in there, and then we're gonna try to drain it some more. Make sure all that black stuff that's in the system is completely drained to where we get that clear, clean brake fluid going. Then we'll start putting everything back on it. We got the rotors on the front. We got the caliper brace on the car. We got Rob tightening up the caliper brace on there, getting ready to put on the passenger side caliper. We already got the pads in the mounting bracket. We got the rotor on the driver's side. Next, we'll put the mounting bracket on for the caliper with the pads. After we do that, we'll put that caliper on the back. They already got the rear pads and rotors and calipers put on. Everything's looking really good, man. Look at those calipers, man. That red is really popping. I like the turnout. I'm digging that. Can't wait to see it with the wheels on. So that's the driver's side rear. On the passenger side rear, they got everything put on. We got the pads greased up. We got the clips greased up. It's very important that you make sure you grease the hardware anytime you put those brakes in, because you want as less friction as possible when you're trying to stop going on there where that pad and that bracket meet. You don't want those clips to be dry, so we got those thoroughly greased up. So we got it slide nice and smooth so that our brake pads don't stick and prematurely wear out. So that's why it's important to grease that up. All right, now we got all 4 calipers put on. I really like that combination in the front with the red caliper and the black rotor, man. It looks really good. But eventually that color is gonna fade to match the back too. So we got the back put on. Everything greased down like I said before. Jimmy's putting on the last bolt to the front caliper. After we do that, we got to put on these brass fittings where the brake line is. And once we have those brass fittings put on, then we'll be done with the brakes. And then the last step would be to fill it up with brake fluid and bleed the system to make sure all the air is out the system. So far so good. I'm shocked, man. Usually don't go this well. At least not the first time. Rob's putting on the front tire. We got all the calipers on, brake pads on, everything greased up. System is bled. Everything is looking really good. I can't wait to see what the setup looks like once we get everything on the ground. Man, it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna look really, really, really nice. Woo! That final fitment is looking lovely. Everything came out great, and just as I thought, that black coating came off the rotor, so we got that nice clean chrome silverish finish going on with those rotors to match the back there. So they're pretty darn close. This thing looking good, man. Brakes feel good, brakes working good. I'm digging it. Don't mind the car though. I know he dirty. Gotta wash him, but shoot, I've been busy. So y'all just let me make it on that, but shoot, everything looks good, man. It's coming along great. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, Godspeed, everybody.